Hi, I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and in this video I'm going to show you how to assemble the fish blocks that are in the new Seagulls quilt pattern. So this is a mix and match pattern, so you can put the pieces together any way you want, including the fish. And in this video I'm going to show you two different ways to put them together. One where we have a contrasting headpiece and one where the head and the body are all one piece. Here's how to do it. Okay, I'm going to put a few goldfish swimming on this block. And since this is a mix and match pattern, that means I don't have a set guide for how they're going to fit into a 10-inch square. So I have my frame that I've just cut out of a cereal box. So this has a 10-inch square cut in the middle of it. And this is really, really helpful when you're doing a mix and match pattern because you can use it to visualize for yourself where the edges of your finished block are going to be. So I just want to make sure I've got this well enough centered in there so that when I crop it down to size, there we go, it's all going to be inside the block. So these goldfish are super, super simple. I didn't do the contrasting face. I'll show you in the later in this video how to change the face color. But what I did is I cut a body and a tail out of each of my 3 gold fabrics, but I'm going to mix those up a little bit. I don't want to have the body matching the tail, just to get a little bit of a scrappy look to it. So I will put one body there. I don't want them to all be perfectly lined up either. I do want them to all be swimming in the same direction because that is what fish tend to do. So that's going to give it a really natural look. But we will put these, and then I don't want this one to be totally lined up with that one, so I'm going to pull that one back just a little bit so nobody is too lined up. Now I think I'm going to put this one. We'll try a couple of different tail options. So I'm going to put this guy under here, and I'm just going to tuck it under and leave that point showing. Put this one up there. Yeah, and then this one here. That'll look good. But mix and match, play around, have fun with it. You can even turn the tails different ways, but I actually very deliberately cut my fabric, fussy cut the fabric so that it would look like, this is the Rows of Bowls print, for example, and I wanted it to look like scales on the fish and also on the tail. And on this one, when I did the body of the fish, I wanted them going up and down. I could have gone the other way, and I think I did on the green one that you're going to see in a bit. And I want this to look like up and down of the tail. Like I want those stripes running up and down. All right, so that is good. I'm going to take this over to the ironing board and fuse it down. I'll bring it back and show you after I've done all of the outline stitching. And on these, I am going to do the eyes. You can applique the eyes, and I am going to show you one example block where I did applique the eye just to show you that it's possible. But they are very, very tiny, and so I'm going to do these eyes with fabric paint, so I'll show you that as well when they are finished. Okay, and now I am going to do some green fish. So I'm putting my frame back on here, and these are going to be swimming in the opposite direction of the gold ones, and I did the heads and the bodies as separate pieces. So what you can do, and I actually show this in the pattern, there's a dotted line on the fish body pieces. Here's one of the body pieces that I peeled off the yellow. There's a dotted line there. You can cut it or you can leave it. So on these, I cut them before I fused them together and fused them to 2 different fabrics. So I'm going to then be able to just overlap that a little bit to give the fish a contrasting head. So I've got some tails, 3 bodies, and 3 heads. And now I will place these guys. So I like that. All right, so we've got one fish, leave a little room for the tail, and I can always move these around a little bit. And then another fish. And then this one, I told you I would show you one with the zigzag fabric where instead of making the stripes go vertically, this one the stripes go horizontally. There we go. So let's get some heads on there. Now I'm going to put the tails in first. The tails are actually a little easier to place. Once the heads are placed, it's a little bit harder to move them around. So this one has a tail that's barely going to fit. That's perfect. It's got a little bit of room on the edge of the block. And then I've got a tail here. I'll do this one. No. Yeah, I'm going to do this one on this. And then I've got a tail with, it's quite a bit lighter, and it's some little dots. All right, so now these guys are pretty close. Well, that's a little different. That's good enough. I'm going to move this guy over a little bit and give this guy just a little bit more difference. All right, now we're going to put the heads in, and I've got this dotted fabric down here, so I'm going to put it up here. Just want them all to be a little bit different. And I'm just going to overlap that a little bit over the body. You could also underlap it. They both work. Actually, I'm going to do that. I like the way that looks. No, I'm going to do it this way. Okay, and then I'm going to, since I've got the rows of bowls here and here, I'm also going to put it down at the bottom so that nothing is getting the same fabric twice. There that goes. And now one more. And we'll make sure I didn't get his nose too close to the edge, but I think it's going to be great. And there we go. All right, I like that. I've got 3 of them pretty evenly spaced. I've got these guys, the top and the bottom one are not too lined up. I like that. It looks good. I'm going to fuse it down, bring it back here. I'll do all of the outline stitching and also put the fabric paint eyes on these guys as well, and then bring it back here and show you the finished block. All right, and here is one of the finished fish blocks. So I just want to point out that on these guys, I used some fabric paint. I used Scribbles 3D fabric paint in a shiny black, and it gives it a really nice appearance. I've got more information about this. There's a link in the pattern to a post that has all different options for doing the eyes if you don't want to applique them. And these are appliqueable, and I've got a different block where I show a seagull holding a fish, and on that one I did applique the eye so that you can see that it can be done. But if you just don't want to applique something that tiny, fabric paint is the way to go. So here's the finished block of the fish with the contrasting heads. And here's a version without using the contrasting head. I really like the look of both of them, so you choose which one you want for your quilt.